We're pretending we're craft scientists in today's episode, where I'll be testing some popular craft hacks sent in by you. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Lady Hart, and if you're into costumes, crafts, and chaos, then you've come to the right place. Today we'll be focusing on the craft element of the costumes, crafts, and chaos. My inbox is always absolutely filled with people sending me and tagging me in craft hacks, DIY hacks, and I absolutely love it. Please keep doing it. So for today's episode, I will be testing the crafts and hacks that you have sent me, because I've handpicked out a couple of really cool ones, and if they do work, it is going to open up our realm of DIY possibilities, maybe quite substantially. So I'm quite excited to give these all a go. Let's jump right into our first hack. Now, this one is all over the internet. It is the glue gun silicone mold DIY craft hack. Now, I get tagged in this about once a week. The idea is simple enough. You get a silicone mold, fill it with hot glue, and you've got a really cool little glue mold you can use to embellish things, particularly things like cosplay, costumes, or weaponry, or just little craft embellishments. I've pulled out my cooking silicone molds. You can reuse them for craft activities. Just make sure you give them a good wash in between switching that up. So mine are some beautiful filigree kind of frames. Now, I've had this particular idea for something I've wanted to make for about a decade now. And the only reason I haven't made it is because the materials that I sort of planned to use would be quite expensive, and I couldn't really justify the cost. So what I'm thinking is that if this DIY hack does work, and we already know it does, I am going to finally create that project, and I will reveal it at the end of this episode. So watch until the end and let's see if that works out. Moving on to our second hack, which is from 5 Minute Craft. It's an easy iron t-shirt transfer. So let's have a look. So you get your printer paper, cut out your design, lay down some plastic wrap, fold another piece over it, cut around the design again, lay it out on your t-shirt, parchment paper over the top, give it an iron, and then peel off the parchment paper, and you have an easy t-shirt transfer. Now, if this does work, and I'm really hoping that it does, this is going to be a very easy way for many of us to make our own t-shirts or merchandising just for ourselves. So I am very excited to give this one a go. I have made up this printout, bleak but chic. So following the exact instructions from 5 Minute Crafts, let's see if this one will work. So good news, the paper is not burning. I was worried about that. All right, the moment of truth. Nope, that's not sticking. It has stuck to the grease paper on a low iron, but not to the shirt. So let's go again with a hotter iron. Let's see if a hotter iron did the trick. Oh, I think we're getting closer. I am just going to turn it up to the hottest setting, and that should do the trick. Just make sure to go over the entire design, especially on the edges. Here we go. Okay, so we are left with this, which is a little fail. It is only sort of half melted onto the paper. There's edges around here. They're not quite melting. The print doesn't look fantastic, and there still is some plastic melting off. It didn't even stay on the shirt when I was putting it on. That one is an epic fail, but at least we didn't lose a t-shirt out of it. Let's move on to the next one. Our third hack comes from Craftalicious DIY, and it's another kind of transfer. This hack is a candle DIY sellotape transfer hack. So you get a candle, some printouts, put the printout onto the tape, cut it to size, and then pop it in a bowl of water. Let it all curl up and get saturated, and then scratch off the paper, and it should transfer directly onto the sellotape, which you can then just press directly onto the candle. If this one works, what fantastic gifts to be able to make really easily to give all year round. So I'm really hoping this one works. Let's jump in and give it a go. I've now left it for 10 minutes, so let's give it a whirl now. Hey, it did work, and it all sort of just slid off on its own. It's not gonna half work. You know what? Because that did half work, I am going to test that again. I ended up getting distracted and left it soaking for hours. The transfer still didn't end up as strong as in the tutorial, and I didn't need to scratch it off at any point. It always just slid off. Half nailed, but I still think it's pretty cool. Now, if you can recall back to the beginning of this episode, I alluded to a certain long-term project I have had on my mind and would reveal it at the very end of the episode. So, are you finally ready to see what I came up with? Here it is! Now, I actually wasn't digging the glue look in the end, so I've grabbed out this light air dry clay from Kmart I've had laying around, and I'm going to use that in the molds instead. So this was what was in my head for 10 years or so, but I'll be honest with you, this was a little too easy for me, but it has given me an even bigger idea. And in a move that will surprise absolutely no one, I love doing this craft so much that I'm now going to create an entire outfit out of it. But this is going to take some time. I'll be posting updates of the process in future videos, so why not subscribe and join me on that journey? I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if there are any craft or DIY hacks you would like to see me test in the future, slide into my DMs, and don't forget to follow me on socials. I am Lady Hart Official everywhere. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so we can be friends and you can join my craft cult. Just kidding. Or am I? Thank you for joining me once again. I have been Lady Hart and you have been an audience. I'll see you next week.
Lady Hart, thank you. We love you, Lady Hart. Yes.
You're all doomed. Doomed. Doomed.